Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're getting into something pretty heavy, but really important.
Yeah, the experiences of Kenyan women working as domestic staff over in Saudi Arabia.
Exactly. We want to look behind those promises of a better life overseas. We've got this really eye-opening video from NTV Kenya.
Right, and we're pairing that with Amnesty International's big report, Locked In, Left Out.
Yeah.
It really lays bare a lot of the issues.
So if you want to get up to speed quickly on these significant, often hidden realities, well, that's what we're doing today, breaking it down.
And you have to start with the hope, right? That's what drives everything. These women are looking for work, mostly, to build a better life, support their families back home.
Such a basic, powerful drive. But the NTV Kenya piece, it shows a really worrying side. They often end up in private homes working and, well, they become isolated, almost invisible, you could say, very vulnerable.
And that vulnerability, sadly, often leads straight to exploitation, abuse. We're talking forced labor situations, physical abuse, verbal abuse too. And just the heartbreaking reality that sometimes these workers, they don't come home alive.
The reports also really zero in on this Kafala system. It's controversial, to say the least.
Yeah, let's maybe unpack that a bit.
Yep.
Basically, your legal status, your right to even be in the country, it's tied directly to your employer.
So you can't just leave your job, or the country even.
Not without their permission, no. It gives the employer immense power.
Which you can see how that could just foster abuse.
Exactly. The NTV piece had that story. Majuma Shaban went there back in 2014. She was only 21.
I remember that part.
And when she tried to complain about how she was being treated, her employer actually said to her, "I bought you."
Yes. Just chilling, it sounds like. Well, like being treated like property. Modern slavery, almost.
That's the feeling it evokes, yeah. And yet, here's the paradox, the really concerning thing. Even with all these known problems, these documented cases, the number of Kenyans going to Saudi for work, it's doubled in the last 2 years.
Doubled. Wow.
Yeah, and the money they're sending back, the remittances, that's doubled too. We're talking over 200,000 Kenyans there now.
And most are domestic workers.
Around 150,000, yeah. It just shows the sheer desperation, the lack of economic opportunity back home that pushes people to take these risks.
It really does. And what happens if someone does manage to escape an abusive situation? Is there help?
Well, that's another challenge. Amnesty's research found the Kenyan embassy shelters, like the one in Riyadh. They're vital, but often overcrowded, under-resourced.
So not enough support even if you reach them.
And reaching them is hard. Saudi Arabia is huge. If you're working way out in Dammam, getting to Riyadh, it's a massive geographical hurdle.
Right. It puts that distance into perspective. Makes it feel almost impossible to get help sometimes.
It does, which is why Amnesty is pushing so hard for reform.
Okay, what are they asking for specifically?
Number one, get rid of the Kafala system. Just dismantle it.
That seems fundamental.
Then regulate the recruitment agencies much more strictly. They're the middlemen, right? Provide real support for survivors of abuse. And crucially, make the labor agreements between Kenya and Saudi Arabia public. We need transparency.
Okay, that makes sense. The NTV report also mentioned Kenya has a new State Department for the diaspora.
That's right, relatively new under the current administration. And these findings from Amnesty and others were presented to them recently.
So maybe a sign of hope. Potential action.
It's a potential avenue, yes, a starting point. But it's also important to point out, Kenya still hasn't ratified the main international treaty on protecting migrant workers and their families.
Really? Okay, that does raise questions, doesn't it? About how much of a priority this really is.
It suggests there's more work to do on the policy front. Amnesty's message is clear. The Kenyan government needs to step up, put concrete measures in place, protect the citizens' rights and dignity abroad.
So, wrapping this up for you, our listener, it's a stark picture. You see the vulnerability, the impact of this Kafala system, and just this urgent need for real change, real government action.
And maybe the thought to leave you with is broader. When you see these economic pressures pushing people into risky situations across borders, what's the global responsibility here?
Right. How do we ensure ethical labor practices, protect vulnerable people in this interconnected world we all live in?
It's a tough question, something to think about.